close enough. So we'll have to pause here for just a second. So let's talk about this. I want to hit this comment here, Tim. So Turk McGirt says, Gary forced turnovers each of the last 3 weeks. Radio morons like blank and blank. I think everybody knows who he's talking about right there. Okay. There's people that still continue to parrot this line that Gary is somehow a bad football player. We've shown it for the last however many years, man. Leads the team in run stops. Led it last year. He was ranked 80th overall by his peers amongst all other NFL. Whose opinion do you value more? And it's funny how they never mention that either. Let me just get off the screen there. They never mention that either. That it's like, okay, we can't mention that the people that line up against Rashan Gary think he's the 80th best player in the league. He's a top 100 player, right? So let's don't mention that. Let's try to paint this negative picture that Rashan Gary is bad at football. That has nothing to do with whether Rashan Gary is going to be a Green Bay Packer long term or not. Contract is what it is. That's going to kind of come to a head next year, and you got to make a decision. He's got to make a decision. Do I want to stay in Green Bay? Packers got to make a decision. Do we just cut him outright, or we try to negotiate something, give some guaranteed money, and keep him here? All that's going to be something that has to be a conversation that has to be had, right? But like Turt says here, Gabe said Micah was taking a shot at Rashan when Micah said 10 sack was the standard. That every week, no matter how positive the storyline is in Green Bay, it will always get painted towards, okay, let me give you an example. And this is kind of the topic we're going to talk about. It goes hand in hand with what we're talking about right here. The snap count. Last week, the media immediately started going to, Rashan Gary, he had, 30-some snaps or whatever, right? Now, we pointed out, if you go back the last 3 games, he's in the same range he's always in, right? Now, when you see that, and this is me 3 games ago, I was talking about, listen, Rashan Gary, there's a conversation that has to be had in the offseason, right? It's going to come down to dollars and cents. It's a business. But when we turned on the tape against the Giants, we noticed, that's what they're doing with Enigbare. They're continuing what Jeff Hafley started last year with the 55 drop. What I mean by that is a fire zone blitz. They'll have 55 lined up either in the cheetah spot, which is playing 3 tech and a 3 pass rush, 1 defensive tackle set, or he'll just be playing a 4-eye or a 3 tech, or he'll even be playing a wide 9. They'll blitz the corner off that end, or they'll play him on a wide 9 opposite and drop him into coverage. It's called a fire zone blitz. You're basically you're bringing pressure one spot, and where you're showing a pass rusher on the other, you're dropping them out. I'll tell you who else did that yesterday. They were doing that with T.J. Watt in Pittsburgh. Seen it several times on the tape there as well, watching that game against Chicago. So the point is, we went 55 drop heavy against Jameis Winston and the Giants, and that's why you've seen that. That's why you've seen Enigbare's snaps get inflated a little bit last week against the Giants. You could tell that was a part of the game plan. So immediately they start writing these hit pieces on Rashan Gary that all of a sudden Rashan Gary, Enigbare's getting his snaps. Now, they ask LaFleur, guys, listen, LaFleur is not going to tell you his game plan. I'm still, it's mind-boggling to me how many people in the sports media, they either think everything they're telling you is by the book, 100% true, or nothing they're telling you is true. It's always somewhere in the middle. Of course, the coach will give you information that's true, but also schematically, Tim, they're not going to tell you what their game plan is. They want the other team to find that out. Let me give you an example. So we uncovered, these knuckleheads, these bunch of morons just watching the tape uncovered, that was the game plan last week, was let's get Enigbare some snaps. They'll count him as a defensive lineman. We drop him into coverage. We fire a bull off the corner. We can try to force Jameis Winston into throwing into coverage, which he did multiple times. That's what – so you see that and go, bang, that was the game plan. Now, they ask LaFleur about the snap count. Well, he's never been a snap count guy. That's his answer. Rashan Gary's getting passed up by Enigbare on the depth chart. That was the story all week long. The only way the truth would have been told is if Matt LaFleur would have said, no, actually, we game plan to have Enigbare drop into coverage on fire zone blitzes. That's something he does well. A coach is not going to say that because guess what? The Vikings hear that in the press conference. They go, hey, we need to key in on 55. When he's on the field, he may be dropping into coverage. Let's take advantage of that. You understand what I'm saying? They should already know it anyway if they're watching a 4-game saturation plus the last 2 head-to-head, which – if you're not doing that as a coaching staff, that's coaching malpractice, period, case closed.
Right.
But that's why Matt LaFleur just made a very blanket comment of never been a snap count guy. So it goes hand in hand with what Turt's saying here. And now they're trying to paint it like Micah's taking a shot at Rashan Gary.
Complete trash. That's trash journalism. That's not journalism. That's tabloid TMZ worthy crap. Yeah. There's nobody in that locker room taking shots at each other with comments. It's ridiculous.
And they refer to Rashan Gary as G, OG, Big G, right? Like he's like the backbone of that defense. He's like one of the emotional leaders of that defense. He's one of the longest tenured players on that defense. The coaches absolutely love Rashan Gary, right?
Yep. And so do his teammates.
And again, Tim, it wasn't even about let me get clickbait here. It's those same knuckleheads that ain't got two brain cells to rub together that they want to paint this picture of, well, damn, I already said Rashan Gary was bad. We got to find another angle to prove that Micah Parsons agrees with it. It's just, and you know what?
Weird energy, man.
It's very weird energy. It's very, I don't even know the right way to describe it, to be honest with you. But to point out here, the tweet I put out today, as we said all week after watching the defensive coaching tape, the defensive coaching tape, Enigbari's snap against the Giants were scheme related, not Rashan Gary related. Hafley ran 55 drop on fire zone blitzes to confuse Winston. This week, Rashan Gary more than doubled JJ snaps. So now all of a sudden, Rashan Gary gets 32 snaps. Kingsley Enigbari only gets 15 snaps, right? All of a sudden now now Kingsley Enigbari's bad at football and Rashan Gary's great? You understand what I'm saying? Now, they won't mention this. This won't get mentioned. And again, 32 snaps to Micah Parsons' 40. Micah Parsons has always played really 90% of the snaps in Dallas. It's kind of like Max Crosby. When you're paying a guy that much money, you got to get your money out of him too, right? Rashan Gary has always been like a 60% snap guy is what he's been. Now, last week, was it lower? Probably. I don't delve into the snap counts too much. We're going to talk about it on the backside of the show. But the point is, it comes down to game plan. It comes down to game flow. It comes down to scheme that week. And what does that team do well? How do you want to attack them? What Matt LaFleur was saying in his answer in the presser was real simple. Guys, it's just like when they were talking about, shouldn't you have more than 2 defensive linemen against the run? They said that last year. He's like, but Matt LaFleur, he said, y'all are exposing yourself. You know that, right?
So tell me you don't watch ball without telling me you don't watch ball.
You do know our outside linebackers in a 34 defense are actually defensive ends. And he said it as nice as possible. Boy, they got their ass chapped when Matt LaFleur said that. But hopefully the light bulb comes on like, okay, just at some point you got to step back and go, maybe I don't know as much as I think I do. I have to do it all the time. I'm still learning every single day. When I dive into the tape this week, there'll be multiple things I learned that I didn't know that I'll go, boy, 6 weeks ago I said this and I look like a moron now. Just acknowledge it. Acknowledge that you don't have all the answers and stop acting like you do. And you damn sure should stop trying to tear individuals down along the way. That's what gets me the most, man.
You do that, you're going to get your ass kicked. And that
again, and the fact that there's so many people that just parrot that line all the time, that's what's embarrassing to me. And again, it kind of goes with the embarrassing part of the fan base as well. Tim, I'm going to step away. I want to get your take on all that. Hit these snap counts here real quick, and anything you want to hit in the chat. Let me tell her bye. I'll be right back.
Sounds good. Yeah, absolutely. Talking about snap counts. That's a kind of a varying subject depending on how you look at the game. But I think it's a testament to what Hafley and the boys are trying to do in this defense. Plus, you look at LVN and you look at Barron Sorrell, being a younger player, LVN dealing with the injury. You're going to see fluctuations in snap counts week to week based on who your personnel is. And I think it's a great point that Clayton made there, talking about week to week, Enigbari getting 15 snaps this week as compared to last week. It's based on your scheme. It's based on what your game plan is for that day, the personnel you have available. Again, I think a lot of us as fans, and it's not a fault or anything, but we tend to look at seasons as one big movie instead of 17 different little movies like a coach does. And that's why you're going to see fluctuation in snap counts. And I'm willing to bet we're going to see plenty of snaps for Rashan Gary on Thursday against the Detroit Lions, right, Clay?
Yeah. Absolutely. Andy Watkins in the chat. It's the media's job to hire knuckleheads to adhere to the low IQ fan. You don't believe me. I've got ESPN on the background right here, and I look around and go, idiot, 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 idiot. Like every take they've got, and I don't think they're that. These are former players. Like I know you know what you're talking about. Why did you just say that stupid comment? Because they get together in their production meeting and go, okay, here's a topic. You're going to side with this. You're going to side with that. Everything's prepared. Everything's planned, right? That's why they go that route, I think. So I think it's a great comment there, though, for sure, man. Turk McGirt said, Homer's just crotchety old man funny. I love Homer. Again, Homer is the type of sports talk I grew up on. Homer's as bad as anyone with just throwing out a random stat, and then the next week he turns on it completely. But we need those old crusty guys that are still in sports talk. You see me smiling every time I talk about Homer because it just reminds me of 2001 listening to the actual radio in my car, right? And local sports talk, Fox Sports Radio or something. And he's like those guys, man. But nonetheless, with the snap count, another thing too here, in the snap count article, we put one up on Patreon with all the snap counts. I had AI comb through the internet. I believe we got it accurate. You guys can call them out if there's anything that you see inaccurate. And you can find it over at patreon.com/Packer Fan Total Access. Let me give you another example here. Remember early in the season, Tim, we weren't seeing Warren Brinson at all. Wasn't seeing him at all, right? And we were seeing Nazir Stackhouse every game. Well, this game, Nazir Stackhouse only had 3 snaps. Warren Brinson had 21. The casual person will go, oh, man, Nazir Stackhouse is horrible now. Evidently, Warren Brinson got 21 snaps to his 3. Or it could be that you knew game plan-wise, hat count-wise, we're going to take away the run, and we want someone who's more effective at pass rushing, i.e. schematics, pass rushing in Brinson as opposed to Nazir Stackhouse, who's a run stuffer, because you knew you wanted to get after the young quarterback's ass in J.J. McCarthy, right? So, again, it doesn't mean that Nazir Stackhouse is all of a sudden bad football. Carl Brooks, he may have been banged up too. I don't know. Only 4 snaps, Tim. Do you think this coaching staff thinks that Carl Brooks is horrible? No. Carl Brooks is typically your one tech, right? He'll play one tech in this defense. He did it last year as well from time to time when our boy Kenny Clark was not on the field, right? It doesn't mean they think Carl Brooks is horrible at football all of a sudden. It means they liked this week's game plan being led by Devontae Wyatt, 34 snaps, by the way, got 2 sacks, right? And he's our best pass rusher. Kobe Wooden, 24 snaps, who's become our new nose, right? Throw him in at the one
general.
That's right. And then, of course, Warren Brinson, they wanted to implement him this week because of his pass rushing ability that you've seen all over the tape when they drafted him here. You know, 'cause again, Warren Brinson was a draft pick, right? Nazir Stackhouse was an undrafted free agent, yet Nazir Stackhouse was getting a lot more snaps early in the season. There's constant adjustment. There's constant flow when it comes to the game plan in that regard. I just wanted to hit that because that cracked me up that they tried to paint that picture. Now, people hear this and they go, oh, does that mean Kings, they would approach us and go, well, Kingsley Enagbare must have took a step back. He only had 15 snaps. No, Kingsley Enagbare was asked to do something different this week. Tim, give me that screenshot of Micah Parsons. I want to play this 4th down stop here by our boy Kingsley Enagbare. So even with the minimal snaps there, he still had his presence felt in the run game on this particular snap. This is the 4th down play, I believe. Guys, 3rd and 1, we stuffed them. This is 4th and 1, the very next play as they tried to get the first down on the 4th and 1 on looks like roughly our 16-yard line, our 17-yard line, something like that. Here we go.
Mason not going to get there. Enagbare stops him on 4th down.
Now, again, the people that want to paint that picture, right, that all of a sudden Enagbare is better than Rashan Gary would be the same people that would try to make it sound like Kingsley Enagbare is a bad football player. And here you had a goal line essentially a goal line situation, a 4th and 1 situation where you get your goal line package in there, and Enagbare makes the play, right? Who cares who's making the play as long as the team is working together collectively to get the job done?
Well, people who want to twist facts and feelings to fit a narrative, they care. They're the ones upset after a dub, after you spank a divisional opponent like a bad child at home and you're upset on a victory Monday. It blows my mind.
Yeah.
I just don't get it.
It's just this mental gymnastics of going back and forth. Rashan Gary's a bad football player. Now all of a sudden we won't talk about it because he was effective. Okay, now this guy passed him up in snap count. Now we got to paint him as a bad football player again, right? This is a huge play here from yesterday. This is Rashan Gary raking the arm of McCarthy, forcing the interception to McDuffie. Again, we always talk about this pressure pick, coverage sack. I apologize for the dogs. They're mad Mandy's leaving. But pressure pick, coverage sack. Here we go. This is Rashan Gary making a play, and McDuffie finishing off with a great interception here of J.J. McCarthy.
History, double-digit sacks, 5 straight seasons to start his career. Rashan Gary gets there this time and forces an interception. Gary got his hand on it, and Isaiah McDuffie picked it off.
So one of the 3 interceptions or turnovers on the day, right? We win the turnover differential 3-0. You only win that 2-0 without Rashan Gary and that strip. It should have been called a sack. It shouldn't have. The ball went forward. You guys get the picture. The box score, this is why you shouldn't dwell on the box scores too much. The box score won't show that other than just a pass defended or a pass deflection for Rashan Gary, right? In all honesty, it could have been a strip sack. Yep. He did everything to get the strip sack. This is better than just a sack, by the way. This is what we talk about. Sometimes pressures are better than sacks, because if he sacks him here, they end up punting the ball away, or they end up living to play another down, as opposed to us getting the football with McDuffie making a great play on the ball. So those things are just as important, Tim. Those are the stuff that, again, you get caught up in the box score, you can really get a false outlook of what actually happened in the game.
It's so true. I mean, that was Rashan just influencing the hell out of that play. And then McDuffie doing a great job keeping his work in front of him. And lo and behold, that ball just ended up in his belly. And he made a great play there. That's, this defense working as a unit, man. That's what these guys are getting paid to do, man. Nobody's getting paid to be an individual out there. It's a team game for a reason.
Absolutely. Gregory in the chat says, felt that was a forced fumble in air, quote, interception. It could have went either way. I could see that. I'm kind of the opinion that when the ball somehow goes forward, their arm had to have been going forward, unless a defender actually hits them from behind and it flies forward, But nonetheless, great play, right? Still a +2 play for Rashan Gary. For sure. So really, really excited about what the defense has done, though. And Rashan Gary, again, I want to be very clear here. I don't think Rashan Gary is getting better. I think you'll probably see a steady decline. But the fact that there's some that think, okay, you can't use him on this defense moving forward, it's got to be the right price. I got you. But his run defense has been phenomenal. Again, I pointed it out. He had 70 going into this week. He had 70 less snaps on the year than Micah Parsons, and he had 3 more run stops than Micah Parsons. That doesn't mean Micah Parsons is a bad run defender. I think Micah Parsons is a very good run defender. He's an elite pass rusher, a very good run defender. That's how I see Micah Parsons. Rashan Gary, damn near elite run defender, and I think he's a good pass rusher. Maybe not very good, but a good pass rusher. You need that if you're going to stop the run. Again,
it's called balanced attack, right?
Yeah. And you can scream, get rid of Gary. You can do that. Yeah, let's get rid of Gary. Don't bitch and moan next year when the run defense takes a dip if you don't have Rashan Gary. And I promise you this, mark my words, if someone were to do that, Tim, if the people that are screaming Rashan Gary's not worth money, he's not worth the money, the second Rashan Gary's gone and your run defense goes from 3rd best in the league to, let's say it dips to 12th or something, right? Let's say it takes a dramatic turn. Those same people that were screaming that would then move their focus to Micah and go, Jerry told us Micah was a bad run defender. See, that's exactly how they would approach that. And again, it goes back to that whole shock jock approach to calling the games and covering the games and just trying to create a little bit of outrage. And it's funny when it backfires on them, because like I said, one of them was on Twitter yesterday complaining because the fans were coming at him. Bub, you did that. You created that whole environment. You created that whole, this player's playing bad, that player's playing bad. And then when the crowd turns on you all of a sudden, it ain't so fun, is it?
You can't dish it out, but you can't take it, right?
As we used to say, ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun, right?